Hi, my name is Zach Simmons, and this is Pro Football Today. It's been a while since I've done this show. I've been mainly focusing on the Bears, but since the Bears are now out and they've been a hot embarrassment this season, and also since Week 17 is now upon us, the playoffs are just around the corner. So let's talk a little bit about what we can see in the playoffs. Well, take a look at the NFC. There's a lot of different things that can happen in the NFC. I'm not going to get into all of it. But you have the Packers and the Saints. They're locked in one of the top three seeds in the NFC. Number 4 seed is going to be either between the Eagles and the Giants. Eagles and the Cowboys. Giants are nowhere near. Eagles have to beat the Giants. In the event that they lose, they need Dallas to lose. If both of them lose, Philly will make it. If Philly loses, Dallas wins. Dallas will make it. So basically, all Dallas has to do is win and hope for the best, hope that the Giants can somehow beat the Eagles. Otherwise, if the Cowboys lose, they're done. That's it. So they have to win. It's a must-win game. But with the Eagles, they can lose and still be okay. But if the Eagles do win, they automatically clinch. Saying they're going against the Giants, you can make a pretty good prediction that they're going to be able to make playoffs this year. But they're locked in number 4. Whoever wins division will be locked there number 4. But the big game is Seattle versus San Francisco. Very good game earlier. Very good game. But now you add in Marshawn Lynch, who just signed with Seattle. So you're going to see a good amount of Skittles this week. So, what happens here? Whoever wins this game will clinch division. So San Fran wins, they clinch division. They will take one of those top 3 spots. Once again, there's a lot of different things that can happen. It all depends if the Packers end up winning or they lose, or the Saints win, they lose. A lot of different combinations there. But whoever wins this game will be one of those top 3 seeds. But whoever loses this game will clinch the number 5 seed. So this is very big. No matter what, both these teams, they have made playoffs. It now all depends on where will they be. One of them could end up getting the bye week. They don't have to play in the wild card round, while the other one is forced to play in the wild card round, and they have to play away. They have to go against whoever is. Well, they have to go against whoever wins the NFC East. They're going to be playing against either the Cowboys or the Eagles. So it'll be very interesting to see exactly what happens Sunday night. At that point, that's the only game remaining that will mean anything to the playoffs. And it's a pretty big one, too. The AFC, things are a little bit different. Ravens have clinched number 1. They've clinched number 1 spot. And then you also have the Patriots and Chiefs. They have locked in those next 2 spots. The big thing, though, is that number 6 spot. The number 6 spot could go to anyone at this point. There's 3 teams that can go to. It can go to the Titans, it can go to Pittsburgh, and it can go to Oakland. Yes, Oakland can actually make playoffs. Even without Josh Jacobs, the chances go a little bit lower, but they still have a shot to make playoffs this week. So this is what has to happen. Titans win, they clinch. Titans have to win. Titans lose, Steelers win. Steelers clinch. But both those teams lose and the Colts lose, then the Raiders will make playoffs. There's a lot that has to happen. Raiders have to win. Titans have to lose. Steelers have to lose. And then Colts have to beat the Jaguars. If all that happens, Raiders can make playoffs. So if you're a Raiders fan, just remember it's not over yet. It's not over yet. So it's going to be a very interesting amount of games this week. Who says Week 17 doesn't matter? Because right now it really does. If you look at the NFC, it means when you're playing. Do you play? Do you get a week? Do you get a week off, or do you have to play that next week? In the AFC, it's do I get to make playoffs? Do we have a shot to make the Super Bowl? So it's very interesting. But I want to take a look now at my predictions. So that's what we can expect for the playoffs. Not going to make any predictions on who's going to make it or not. It's a close call. These are very good teams we're talking about. Excuse me. But let's take a look at my predictions. I'm going to start with my my favorite prediction that I made, and then I'll end with the worst prediction I've made, which is actually one of the worst predictions I've ever made. So the best one, the one that I'm most proud of, is the Bills. I did call the Bills being second place. I did not say they're going to make playoffs. I was very careful in saying they weren't going to make playoffs. Reason being, there's a lot of good AFC teams that really haven't turned a whole lot. Mainly the Chargers. I did say the Chargers are going to make playoffs. That obviously did not happen. But they were close. They have been very, very close. And I did say that Melvin Gordon is going to be the major reason. I don't think that's necessarily so. I think it's more Phillip Rivers. But I did not say the Bills are going to make playoffs because they're a young team. I would love to see them in the playoffs, but I did say they're going to give New England some trouble. They are going to come close. They're going to come close to winning division, and right now they came awfully close to winning division. But Buffalo, you made it to the playoffs. Congratulations. I love what Buffalo did in free agency. I wish every single team would do this around their young quarterback. Just watch what Buffalo did. They drafted some offensive linemen. They picked up some receivers in free agency. They brought in a veteran running back and then drafted a young running back. All of this helps out your quarterback. Josh Allen did not have a good line in 2018. Josh Allen did not have good receivers in 2018, and LaShawn McCoy was hurt left and right in 2018. So what did they do? They grabbed John Brown. They grabbed Cole Beasley. They grabbed some linemen. They picked up Frank Gore. They drafted Devin Singletary. And look at the Bills now. They have won 10 games. They have won 10 games, and they're going to the playoffs for the first time since, I believe, Tyrod Taylor. This is Tyrod Taylor. This team is a good team. They've done a very good job surrounding, putting some talent around Josh Allen, who I think is a very good quarterback in this league. You're going to see him skyrocket in the next couple years. So I did call him making second place. I did not call playoffs. But I did say they're going to come awfully close. I had a feeling this team was going to be a shocker this year. Now for my big mistake. I had someone call me out on this, and they were completely right. I put the Ravens down at number 3 in the AFC North. I had them below the Cleveland Browns and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Obviously now they're the number 1 seed, and Lamar Jackson is projected to be the MVP. And that's after I said Lamar Jackson is an average quarterback. He's really nothing much. He doesn't have the receivers around him, so he's not going to excel as a passer. He's not a good passer to begin with, and there's a lot of confusion when it comes to running the ball. Also, I also said that their defense, they didn't do a whole lot. They let a lot of guys go that they shouldn't have let go. But now we take a look, and we see the Baltimore Ravens, and we can say that they are the most accomplished team. Not just in the AFC, but in the NFL. They're an exciting team to watch. I haven't met one person that doesn't like watching Lamar Jackson. So, what happened there in Baltimore? There are some people that called it. There are also some people that were hesitant to say, okay, they're not going to take the league by storm. They'll win the division, but that's just because it's the AFC North. So what happened there in Baltimore? Well, part of it is Lamar Jackson is an incredible athlete. I'm still not 100% behind him when it comes to being a passer. I think he's proved me wrong on some occasions when it comes to the deep ball. I'll give him that. But overall accuracy, he's still not 100%, given that a whole lot of people are perfect when it comes to accuracy. But I mean, his accuracy is slightly above average. I wouldn't say elite. I wouldn't say fantastic. Slightly above average. But his running ability is fantastic. It's just fantastic. You can't beat him. It's like Bo Jackson and Tecmo Bowl. I mean, it's impossible to figure out how to beat him. You don't know if he has the ball, if Mark Ingram has the ball. It's a fantastic offense, and that's why I have to give a lot of credit to John Harbaugh. It's not because he got a mediocre quarterback that everyone's saying that he should be a running back, he should be a receiver, he should not be a quarterback, he's not built like a quarterback, he can't play quarterback. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is that John Harbaugh did what any elite coach would do, which is he got a quarterback who doesn't fit his scheme. So instead of forcing his own personal scheme on him, he decides to say, you know what? I'm going to find out what your strength is, and we're going to change the offense around your strength. That's what you have to do with a young quarterback. It's not about trying to teach them what your scheme is. It's saying, okay, what do you do good? What's your best attributes, and how can I move this offense around you so that way you're playing in your strength? That's what Harbaugh did. If you look at the offense run by Lamar Jackson, you compare that to the offense run around Joe Flacco, it's fantastic. It's completely different. Joe Flacco's offense, it worked. It worked for Joe Flacco. Flacco could not work in Lamar's offense, and Lamar couldn't really work in Flacco's offense. Even though, for the most part, when Lamar came in for the injured Joe Flacco, Lamar did play a little bit in that system, but they did change a little bit. They had some more design runs for him. But for the most part, if you just tell him, play like Joe, Lamar Jackson is probably close to a mediocre quarterback. That's just not his style. It's not his schemes. So John Harbaugh says, you know what? I don't think it can work in this scheme, so let me change my scheme so that way you can work in it. That's what you have to do as a head coach. There's a lot of coaches that have ruined young quarterbacks because they refuse to do that. Being a Bears fan, it's really easy to see Matt Nagy and how he's handled Mitchell Trubisky. And John Fox, for that matter, when he was the Bears coach. Instead of looking at Trubisky and saying, okay, you know what, you're really good at rolling out the pocket, you're really good at being mobile, so we're going to design plays to make sure that you're mobile. Instead of doing that, they said, okay, this is my ideal. It's like Nagy was saying, my ideal quarterback is Alex Smith. You need to play like Alex Smith. That doesn't work. Only Alex Smith can work in that system at that point. You can't turn Trubisky into Alex Smith. It just can't happen. So instead of Harbaugh saying, okay, Lamar, I want you to play like Joe Flacco. My offense works perfectly for Joe Flacco. We won the Super Bowl with Joe Flacco. It works. You're going to play like Joe Flacco. That's not how this works. And Harbaugh recognizes that. He said, you know what? You're not Joe Flacco. I can't have you play like Joe Flacco. You're Lamar Jackson. I'm going to build this offense around you. Incredible. John Harbaugh deserves Coach of the Year. In fact, he deserves Coach of the Decade for what he's done. Very, very good job. And Greg Roman, fantastic job there at offensive coordinator. But that does not mean that without them, Lamar Jackson would be a dud. I'm not saying that whatsoever. I think Lamar Jackson's a very good athlete, but I don't think he can work in a lot of the traditional NFL systems. I just don't think he works. That's why almost every team passed up on him. It's because he doesn't fit a whole lot of schemes. You have to change everything around him. That didn't scare Baltimore. That didn't scare John Harbaugh. And that's why they're locked in number one. They're a scary team. A team that not a lot of defenses know how to beat. So very good job of John Harbaugh. Very good job by the Ravens finding Lamar Jackson. I will take the loss. I admit I was wrong. I said number 3 in the AFC, in the AFC North. Now they're number 1 in the AFC. And I think they had a very good shot at winning the Super Bowl. I think they have probably the best shot at winning the Super Bowl. Why? Because they have such an unstoppable offense and no defense has figured out how to stop. They've lost games. Yes, it doesn't mean the defenses have figured them out. The Ravens have what it takes to beat the Patriots. They have what it takes to beat out the Chiefs. And it all surrounds a young quarterback in Lamar Jackson. So I'm not going to double down my prediction. I'll admit I was wrong. And I wish I didn't have to see Lamar Jackson to be on board. But I am definitely on board with Lamar Jackson. I'm liking what I'm seeing. I think the Ravens have done a very good job rallying around him. This is a very good offense. Like what I said, I don't think there's any defense in the AFC or in the NFL that can stop Lamar Jackson, at least not yet. In a couple of years, sure. Defenses always evolve depending on what's going on with the offense. That's where you see guys that show up for a couple of years and then look awful later. I don't want to I don't want to compare Lamar Jackson to Colin Kaepernick, but that's one of the things you saw from Colin Kaepernick. He was very good for a couple of seasons, made you a Super Bowl. But when teams figure it out, all you have to do is blitz him. He doesn't know what to do. If you contain him, you blitz him. He completely went downhill. He got benched for Blaine Gabbert. This was before the whole kneeling scenario, which I'm not going to talk really about that at all. But anyway, when it comes to Lamar Jackson, that can easily happen, but I don't think it will. I think Lamar Jackson is going to be a quarterback here to stay. I think 10 years from now, we're going to be saying that Lamar Jackson should be a first ballot Hall of Famer. In fact, don't even worry about the ballot. Just once he retires, bring him in. So he will be known as an elite quarterback for a long, long time. He will not be Kaepernick. He's not going to be... Mark Sanchez was another one of those guys that looked great for a couple seasons, but then dropped off. I don't think you're going to see that with Lamar Jackson, though. So, 1 week until playoffs. It's going to be interesting to see exactly what happens. The road to the Super Bowl begins tonight, technically, for a lot of teams. Some teams are trying to fight their way in. Some teams are trying to make sure they can take a week off. It'll be interesting to see, but the road to the Super Bowl begins this weekend. It's going to be a very, very good week, very interesting week. For you Raiders fans, keep hope alive. It can definitely happen. For you Pittsburgh and Titans fans, keep it up. You got it. Win. Especially if you're a Pittsburgh fan without Ben Roethlisberger, that's a pretty good feat. To have a QB battle between Mason Rudolph and Devlin Hodges to actually have a shot to make playoffs, that's fantastic. Titans fans, good job on Ryan Tannehill. Very good quarterback. He's a starter to stay. No matter what happens with these three teams, this was a good season. So, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a good rest of your night.